Okay, this is going to be part two. And what I'm going to show you is two APS-C cameras that I picked up within a couple weeks of each other. Okay, so I had the GR3 first picked up, and then the GR3X. All right. I think one is what, 28, and the other one is 40 megapixel, something like that. But what I like about it is the video is not that good. Okay. And there is a record limit, I think, on here. But with a point and shoot, what makes these so special is basically it can also do macro. Okay. I got these nice little handles to grip it with. They're small, tiny. Um, the screen is locked in. You can't take it out. Okay. So it's like a regular point and shoot. It does not zoom at all, but you do have a digital setting on the menus to get you the longer reach. So if you turn it on, and I'll show you a play right here. I'm trying to look. Oh, it's up here. I'm sorry. All right. So wide field of view, f2.8. Um, I believe this is 28 millimeter. Okay. You can increase it. There we go. Only so much. All right. I'm going to try to use the front one. See, yeah, I can go in there. But you see, it's not clear like on most of the Zooms, but it's readable. All right. Um, anyhow, just clear on that. If I go to the next picture, and that's the wide. If we go to the next one, and the one thing about these digital Zooms, um, it's the same if you left it alone. So if I go up here, you see, even if I do that, it's not, you can see it, but it's not legible. All right. If I go to the other one and I do the same thing and I move it over here, okay, same thing. Uh, there you go. But you see, it's not legible. So even if you do a digital zoom, you're going to get the same picture. Okay. So it's really a farce, uh, what they try to sell you on. And if you go to the crop, you get the 35 millimeter from 28 to 35 or 50 millimeter. Okay. But it does have a neat feature. And I'm going to turn off the play. And what it is macro. Okay. And if you see on here, right. So you see this little dial, and I'll zoom it in so you can see it. And this is on both cameras. Okay. You can see the flower. That means macro. So if I take a picture of Snoopy, trying to find the button. All right. And I press play. There you have it. And I can zoom in and you see how sharp and clear that is. So that's the advantage of an APS-C. I think this is almost an APS-C. It might be a little bit smaller, but it's bigger than a 1-inch sensor. Okay. And I'll turn that off. So the same thing. So this is a street edition, all right, 28 millimeter GR3 from Ricoh. Here's the GR3X, same thing, only it's blue, but it's like a 40 millimeter, and then it'll go to 50 and a 71 millimeter. All right, it's an f2.8 to what is it? I don't know. I have to take a look. So let's look at the pictures also on here. So this is at 2.8. This, yeah. So this is a fixed picture at 2.8 with the digital zoom. Okay, it does not look sharp, and I might have been moving the picture. But if I go to the next one where the digital zoom was on at 70 millimeters, see, it's not that sharp. Okay, they're both not sharp at the highest zoom. But if I go into macro, and let me show you those pictures again. All right, wide, zoom, and then if we go here, bring it down a little bit. You can read it, but it's not as sharp, okay? But if I put in a macro, yeah, all right. Now I'm going to take a picture. And you see? And then I can zoom in a little bit more on this also. But look how sharp it is. Ah, sorry about that. Look how sharp it is. That's the difference. Okay? So it does have a thing that I like. Yes, there's a gimmick to it, but you don't really need to crop. Just leave it at 35 and you'll get the picture. Okay. You just have to crop in. Um, the megapixels on one end sensors are not that good. They're like up to 20. Uh, but there are some point and shoots that are excellent, which I'm going to show you. So I used to have the X105, but now I got the 106. So I gave the 5 to my nephew in Colorado on my stepsister side. So Josh has the X106. He also uses the Canon, I think it's the 740 HS, or yeah, it's zoom, it's a point and shoot, but this can do 6K, 6K 30 on the video. It will overheat, but with the picture quality and stuff, it's excellent. I got a thumb grip on here. I put that up. I put a small rig retro cage on it. So I'm going to make everything wide again so I can see the whole thing. So I had a video where I showed where I added a lens hood with a UV filter. And I was told that it's a gimmick really because you don't need a UV filter on the mirrorless camera. Okay, on the film cameras, yes. On the mirrorless, no. Well, that's a debate, but anyway, I got more protection plus a glass to protect the lens and a matching lens hood, which I found looked a lot better in the silver than in the black and it gives it a contrast. If they do come out with a chrome, like the copper that they have right here, I would go with that too, to give it a distinct look. But you can see where it kind of just on the edges, it's kind of the paint is scraped off, and you can see that brass or copper look. So that's what makes it look retro. Uh, this does have, I think, macro or macro capabilities. So if I turn it on, and I always have to look for the switch on this. And let's say I press play, okay? I show you the same pictures. The wide field of view, okay? And this one can crop, but it's like what I told you before. It's a gimmick. And then if I increase it, oh, wrong one. Let's see, I think it's this one. Yeah. But you see, this one is sharp. This makes a difference because it has a 6K, I think, down sample, or it's a full 6K. And it has an electronic viewfinder. Okay. Um, you can switch it with the little switch up here, the optical to electronic. I think it's also can do a zoom if you want to program it. But as you can see, excellent quality. If you go in the menu, yeah, you can turn a converter to 70 millimeters, but it's the same thing if you left it off. So this is a 40, it'll go to 50 and 70 millimeter. All right. Just a gimmick, but they do have ND filters on here. You can press on. And if I go back, you really, I can take a picture of this, and then I'll turn off the NV filter. Okay, it's off. Now I'll take a picture of that again. If I press play, this is without the ND filter. This is with it on. Can you tell the difference? So that's just a little bit darker. That's a little bit lighter. So you really don't see that much of a difference. Okay. Press play, menu. I think. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, it's off. And the crop is off. Now the neat feature on here also is display back. If you do the drive, it does have a macro feature on here. No, what I have to do is you just bring it close, okay? So I'll just turn that off. I am just going to go close to Snoopy. So it's not really a macro, but if you press play and then you increase it, look how sharp and clear that is. Okay. Bring it back a little bit, put the whole thing in. So I think the GR3 and 3X are sharper in the macro mode. This one, you just bring it close and then you can get close to macro. Let's see what this switch does. All right. I just want to make sure something, if I'm correct, if I use the switch. Yeah. So the switch is like optical to an EVF. All right. That's what this is. So that's a neat feature. It does have where you can a control ring where you can change the aperture on the outside. You have your shutter speed right here, your different modes. The You have your ISO right there, so you have to lift this up and then change it. Let's see. Yeah, just set it down. So there's a lot of good features on here. I like the extra buttons. The only thing is the drive. So in order to go to video, go all the way down here, select it. And then if you can see, I got DCI 4K 30. All right. That way it doesn't overheat, gives you more of a panoramic because it takes off the top and bottom. It's like a 17:9. And a lot of people like that look. And I'll be going on a car vlog with this setting and with the UV filter to see if it does it. I do have a polarizer, but then I also found, now if I turn the whole thing off, my other filters. Okay. So one is on the Minolta MND 50. I think this is the darker one. And I might put this on instead of the polarizer that I also have with this camera. That came from Heyoji. All right, I'm trying to get this thing out. Oh, it opens this way, folks. I think it does. It opens some way. Oh, okay. And if you open it up, ND filter. So it's an FLD. Okay. And then on this one, same thing. I should just take these, I'll not use them. This one right here is this is what I was looking for. So this is the color polarizer, and I can put this on there also, besides the Heyoji. And I'll try them both out because when I tried it before, I did not see a difference. So I'm going to try this one. And like I said, this one's going on much easier than the other one. The other one was for a Nikon, but I put it on here. It's focusing, but I'm turning, and this one is working much better than the one from Heyoji, which is for a Nikon. It didn't say it was for a Nikon, but if you can go and look at this, and let me just do the flippy screen up. Look at this. See, brighter, dark. This is what I'm going to test with. All right. So this ND filter works better than the one that's um, what I've tried yesterday with the short video. So I'm going to try it with this one, which is much better. And the reason for this is like for water, but also to see how effective it is against what I call too much flaring from headlights from cars. So I'll be using this. So it was a good find. I'm glad this is back in. I really don't need those. I'll just put it in there. The other ND filter is on the MND 50. I might take off of that. The only reason why I use that is because it's kind of waterproofs the lens and the camera. But since I don't really take any cameras out into the rain unless it's weather sealed pretty much, and even then I don't like shooting in the rain. I'll stick, I like protecting my stuff and my gear. So The last point and shoot that I'm going to show, and let me do this again. So you can see how I like this in a lot of features compared to the GR3s, but I still use the GR3s, okay? So, full frame, top of the line, point and shoot, 28 millimeter. Yes, it can crop, but like I said, it's a gimmick like the other cameras. You can zoom in. You're not going to, you're going to see the same quality picture, okay? But what does this have? This has the macro and it does 8K video. Plus, it's a 60 megapixel sensor, so you can crop very well with the pictures. And you turn it on. You have your aperture ring. And then you also have your macro. And you see macro and then regular. So if I put it on macro and take a picture, and there's still a distance that you have to be away. So let's take a look at that picture. Okay. Now, I can't remember. Yeah. So you see, that's the sharpest I can get. It was farther away from the other cameras that I took for macro, but look how sharp that is. Crystal clear. I mean, that's why I love this. But this is like a $6,000 camera. And it'll go higher with the tariffs and stuff. But you see, look at that. Perfectly clear. Okay. Press, let's go to the other two that I did. So, okay, wide field of view. Let's zoom in here to Snoopy, show you at 28 millimeters how sharp this is at 8K. That's the highest I can go, okay? But it's sharp, all right? But now, let's go to the zoom part, and I'm going to do the same thing. But you see, you get a better view at zoom. So maybe this isn't a gimmick, all right? This is all the way zoomed. And this is the macro. But you see, with the macro, you can get a lot closer. This is the top of the line camera, why it's expensive, why I like using it. If you're, I don't like taking this out by water, rivers, and stuff like that because it could be damaged so easily. But it does have a 29-minute record limit for video. But you see, it's a small camera and may overheat. Okay. And let me turn it off macro, put it on full frame again. So there's many features, more features on this. I will show you this. So in the camera mode, you got two buttons. So at 28, now it's 35, 50, 70, 90 millimeters. Okay. So you do get closer, but if you want to get even closer, you have to get closer to the subject to do the macro. And then the image is bigger. So that's a neat feature of this. It has different buttons. The menu system is very easy to navigate. There's only 6 in the camera mode, and I think there's only 5 in the video mode. So, and just by swiping in the video, and then if you go to the next one, oh, there's only 4. Okay. So anyway, and then usually to get out, you just hit the share button a little bit, and there you have it. So, top of the line, still my favorite point and shoot right here. Okay. And let me zoom out. This is my second favorite. Okay. And basically, it's video centric on these, but the picture quality is still excellent. Okay. Full frame APS-C. APS-C is on the Ricos, 40 millimeter, 28 millimeter. Okay. I have no problem using one or the other camera. I like taking this camera out the most, especially when I go to the sunken gardens or botanical gardens and I want to do macro work. This is what I take. And the only other thing is, yeah, 1.7 to 2.8, I believe. Or is it? No, it can go to f/16. Okay. But anyway, that's on the ISO. But they can give you the distance if you want to go manual mode, whatever. So you can see my favorites right there. And if I do this and go here, brighten up the scene, now it's a lot better. And let me make it straight. There we go. And then if I zoom in right here, bring this down here, you can see how long that lens is. And then trying to pack these two in. So I see small, small, a lot bigger, and then this one. And the only 2 Fujis I've ever owned in my life, and the same thing with Ricos, okay, which was bought out by, I think they bought out Pentax. I'm not sure, but let me show you. And here you have it. Okay, Fuji X100 or X half, and the Fujifilm X100 version 6. The neat thing about it is, folks, they take the same battery. Okay. This will last longer than that because basically it's just a camera. Okay. It will do some video, but it's not heavy into video. Okay. It only does 1-minute clips. This one can do up to 6K 30, different formats, 4.420, 422 on certain things, but they both can do 4K. All right. They both have the same battery. But on the smaller camera, if you're just taking photographs, this isn't bad. But the picture quality is better because of the higher 6K sensor. Okay. I think it's 6K. I don't think it's up to 7K downsample to 6K. But that's what you got on this camera compared to only 4K. It may be like a 5.7, 5.9 on here. But anyway, that's my take. Very tiny, portable. Yeah, you do more of this stuff, but if you just set it before you start taking pictures, It's very easy to change the kind of like the film format, whatever. Same thing with the movie. There's only 4 ways, and then you just use this if you run out of options. But you can do it in film mode. This is a lot of fun to use. Okay. This one has a hot shoe. That one's a cold shoe. This one almost has macro. You can get real close and get some great shots. Okay. You don't really need to, but the option's there. This one, yeah, you can get as close as you can. Just remember that this is a 20 megapixel compared to a 40 megapixel camera. That's the only difference. I showed you my favorite, but for right now, I'll be dealing with these two in the next couple of days. I'm still checking this camera out all the way. I've already got about 6 or 7 videos on this, and I'm going to be doing a lot more testing on this one because you take a camera out and then you fall in love with it again, and then you start using it, and then you get tired, you take out another camera, and you fall in with that. So anyway, thank you for watching. This is the end of part 2. Part 3 is going to be a little bit different. It's more in the video centric things. So I got 2 more devices that I could show off, but I think I'll do that later. That's the DJI Osmo Creator Combo Pocket 3 Creator Combo, which is a 1-inch sensor, but it can take pictures, I think. But basically, I use that for my big camera. When you're walking around and stuff, it has uh, a gimbal on it, pretty good battery life, and the only bad thing is the SD card, micro SD card. But basically, I've had no problems recording and stuff. The exposure's off now and then I have another camera that I'll bring up to compare with it for my vlogging series. But anyway, thank you for watching. Remember, stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you next time. Bye, folks. Have a wonderful day.